Hi guys! Today I'm going to be doing the Exposing My TBR tag. I was tagged in this by Lindsay from BFCG, so thanks Lindsay. Alright, so there are 10 questions in this tag. First question is, how do I come across books to add to my TBR? And usually basically there's a few ways. First, I find out about them through author newsletters. And those are usually free books that show up on my TBR. Or books that I'm entering giveaways for that I'm like, ooh, I need, like, if you add this book to your Goodreads TBR, you get an extra entry into this giveaway. So of course I immediately do that. If you see me adding random books sometimes and you're like, this doesn't seem like, that's probably why. Or other booktubers, obviously, are a great way that I add books to my TBR. And then finally, browsing at McKay's. I have found so many books by just browsing at McKay's and finding like, oh hey, this is clearly a Christian fantasy. I am interested in this. There was one book, it wasn't McKay's, but it was another like cheap store. My husband laughed when I told him this, but it is the truth. I found this book and bought it because of the font on the cover. No joke. The side of the book, like, it had a picture of a girl in a t-shirt and jeans. Y'all know, on the spine. Like, y'all know that's not really my style usually, but the font was so fantasy looking that I just had to pick up the side of, like, the font on the spine was so fantasy looking that I had to just pick up the book and read the back, and I was like, okay, this is actually time travel to medieval era. Yeah, I want to read this. It's not Waterfall by Lisa T. Bergeron. This book, it was, though, I don't want to necessarily tell you what the book was because I want to reread it to see if I want to recommend it. I enjoyed it then. Now I'm not sure if I would because there might be more content than I like now. Like, my standards have changed since I read that one. It wasn't like there was definitely no open door scenes or anything, obviously. Like, I don't read that ever. But it might have gone a little further than I would like. But anyway, that was how I discovered that book, is because the font was a very fantasy font. My husband, when I first told him that, laughed. We weren't married yet, I don't think. I think we were still just dating, but he thought that was so funny that I bought this book because of the font on the spine. Sort of. All right, BookTuber Shoutout to the person who adds the most books to my TBR. That's hard. Again, I mean, I come across books through other booktubers, but I don't necessarily always buy them, but then I'll look for them in the library, so I guess that counts. So probably Lindsay. Lindsay probably. Also, Celestria adds a lot of books to my TBR, and Sarah over at Sarah's Tangled Tales. I think those are the main ones. I mean, I probably have added books to my TBR from most of the other book girls. Other Christian booktubers. I usually just say the book girls. Because everyone I watch is a girl that are Christian booktubers. So, yeah. But yeah, that's probably most of who I mean, like I said, most people have added some. Those are probably the ones that add the most. Let's see. Book that has been there the longest. Ooh. Like on my Goodreads TBR? Well, my Goodreads is only like as old as December of 2023. So that's not really going to be helpful. Book that has been on my physical TBR the longest. I don't keep long physical TBRs. Book that's been on like my mental TBR the longest. Oh, wait. No, there is a book. I will pop up a picture of it if I can find it. I may not be able to find it. About like C.S. Lewis and Dante. Like how the Dante's Inferno and probably all three of them. Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso impacted C.S. Lewis. I bought that book because it was on sale and it was about C.S. Lewis, but I have never been able to finish reading it, so I probably should sit down and try to read it again. So maybe that one. I guess that one. Most recently added book to Goodreads TBR. I can find which the most recently added book to my Goodreads TBR is. Let me pull that up. Let's see. Load, please. Load, please. Well, there we go. Oh, yes. One of the aforementioned giveaway things, I do believe. The most recently added book. Date added. The most recently added book is Hiding the Witness by Nina Alexander. I believe that is my most recently added book. Because I added that literally today. Again, this was one of the a Goodreads, or not Goodreads giveaways, but a like author newsletter giveaway that was like, add the book to your TBR and you get an extra entry. So I was like, yes, please. Most of those usually involve Instagram or Twitter, neither of which I have, and so it's like, okay, this is the one I can do. And the most recently added book to my physical TBR, which surrounds me and consumes me and binds the galaxy together. What is the most recently added book to my physical TBR? Oh, this one up here, Behold the Dawn by K.M. Weiland. It is in a stack, and I don't want to pull it out. What else did we buy when we bought that one? I know I bought something else. I bought like 3 books, but one of them wasn't for me, one of them was a gift. I don't remember what the other one was. It wasn't that one. I got that one the time before. Oh well, the baby gets into my books sometimes, and they wind up strewn everywhere, and so I'm, it's all I can do to keep them kind of in an order. Yeah, I can't find it around me. Oh, wait, it might be in this stack. It is not. Yeah, so I can't find it around me. Check my last short if you want to know the other book that I bought at the same time, because it would be there. Okay, what book will I read next? Probably, let's see. So right now I have technically 2 books on the go. The Gates of Zion by Bodhi Tani. I have just not had any desire to pick that up. I technically have started it. Like, it's listed on Goodreads that I've started it. I don't want to read it. So I probably need to just set that down for now and come back to it later. I'm also reading The Grey Woman and Other Tales by Elizabeth Gaskell for Anne's challenge. Like yearly challenge. But I finished an audiobook today. Haven't started a new one, but I think my next one is Hope Unburied by Kimberly Woodhouse. It's the last book in her paleontology trilogy. I don't know what it's, Secrets of the Earth maybe is what the whole series is called. The paleontology trilogy. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about, and I'll pop up a picture. Most anticipated book and why I haven't read it. It's still Once a Queen by Sarah Arthur. Yeah, I really still want to get to that book, but y'all know how I arrange my physical TBR, and I actually did do a bit of a shuffle where I separated them out by like genre, because I thought that might make it easier for me to read things. If like they're still ordered from least wanted to read to most wanted to read, but now they're separated. They're not just in absolute order. I have like biblical fiction, historical fiction, suspense, like dystopian, spiritual warfare, and Christian fantasy, like all separated out into their own stacks, so that when if I have to fulfill a prompt or something, or if I just decide I just want to pick something up, and I would rather pick up a specific genre, that might help me out, instead of just feeling like I have to read this one next. I need to just free myself from that, but what are we going to do? Alright. Books that I added to my TBR because of the hype. I don't really know if I added anything to my TBR. Oh, okay, well, yeah, that would be the Four Kingdoms series by Melanie Sellier, which I'm in the middle of reading. I've read books 1 through 4, and I'm waiting on book 5 to come in from the library. 100% worth the hype. Love those books. But they're not on my TBR now. So I am scrolling through my Goodreads TBR to see what I haven't read that is on my TBR because of the hype. The Women of Midtown series by Elizabeth Camden. The dentist book. What is book 1? While the City Sleeps, and then book 2 is When Stars Light the Sky. Gorgeous covers. I love these covers. But I kind of added those to my TBR because of the hype, because I heard people talking about them, and I thought they sounded interesting, but I've never actually read Elizabeth Camden, still haven't, so I added those because people said they were good, or have said that she's a good author, and I want to try her, and so Again, those might be on my TBR, also on Goodreads because of the giveaways, because I enter a lot of giveaways. I don't usually win them, but I do enter them. The more you enter, the more likely you are to win, right? That's sort of the philosophy I live by. Of the more good giveaways I enter, the more likely I am to win at least one, which I have. I have won at least one giveaway, so actually I've won multiple, but definitely one specifically that I received physical books from an author, which was great. All right, books I added that I knew I wasn't going to read. Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I typically add books planning to read them. Sometimes they, I mean, I have on my Goodreads TBR, I have some, I do have an Amish book, which I don't really know why I put that there, honestly. I've entered some giveaways for, like, nonfiction books about writing, which I'm not sure if I'm ever going to fully just sit down and read them, if I do win them. I have won one, actually, that I need to skim. Like, I'm not planning on sitting down and reading it. Also, cookbooks. I mean, I've entered giveaways for cookbooks that are technically on my TBR. Obviously, I'm not going to actually read a cookbook, but, you know, it's always nice to get a cookbook. Any books on there that I will remove? No, I don't really use my Goodreads TBR. It's not really a functional organ for me. It's just kind of there. I mean, I use it in... Sorry, the baby is asleep, but I heard a creak. And Hubby is right next to me, so I knew that wasn't him. And I was just quiet for a minute, making sure. He has rolled over and thumped his head really bad recently, or stood up or something. We don't really know what happened, because we were downstairs and he was in his crib upstairs. All we know is we just heard yelling. So, yeah, I was like, let me stop. Anyway, I don't really use the TBR there on Goodreads. When you enter a giveaway on Goodreads, it automatically puts the book on your TBR. So that, and then the most useful thing about it for me is it will notify you when there is a new giveaway for a book on your TBR, which is cool. But yeah, I don't really use my Goodreads TBR, honestly. Yeah. See, on my physical TBR, I mean, no, I'm not planning to remove any until I read them. So, no. Grand reveal of number of books on my TBR. Again, my Goodreads TBR is kind of useless. So, let me stop and count the books on my physical TBR, because that is a better indication of actual books on my TBR. So, I will be back. Alright, on my physical TBR, there are approximately 68 books. That is not counting books on, for example, my 30 by 30 that I don't own physically. That is not counting, for example, one of the books on that 30 by 30 is like a Father Brown collection that I got from my husband a few years ago. I'm counting that as one book. And that is not counting the one that I feel like I can't remember that I bought recently. I have no idea what book that is or where that is, but anyway. I only counted the ones I could see, so I think that's right. So 68 on my physical TBR. We are not going to go into my Kindle TBR, and we are not going to go into what is in the random Goodreads TBR or my Libby TBR, because those are all longer, a lot longer, so yeah. But anyways, that is at least my physical TBR. So, that is the end of this tag. Do I want to tag people? Yes, probably. The question is, who do I want to tag? I think I might tag some newer booktubers that I have found recently. Let's see here. I'm going to pull up, wait, this isn't my, oh. Okay, I forgot that this iPad is logged into my husband's YouTube account, so I just have to remember people. I will tag Reese at the Writing Songbird. I'll tag Cora over at Cora Mabry. Reese is not a new to me booktuber, but Cora is. And then, let's see. Who else shall I tag? Kelly over at Bookish Kelly. There we go. There's 3. So, let's see. Let me know what your most anticipated book is on your TBR and why you haven't read it. And please like and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.